Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Wednesday, May 14, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, union leaders meet with team of ministers. Compol provides update on the ongoing SOE. And we look back at the decline of Monkey River Town. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Make light work lighter and
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. On Tuesday afternoon, the joint union negotiating team met with senior ministers in Belize City to discuss the union's demands. The main demand of the union is an 8.5% salary increase across the board for the estimated 16,000 public officers. The Prime Minister, Honorable John Briceño, on Friday told the media that the government may not be able to afford to meet all the union's demands, as the wage bill is already at $698 million and accounts for 56% of total recurrent spending. The representatives for the JUNT were Public Service Union PSU President Dean Flowers, Belize National Teachers Union BNTU President Nadia Kalis, and Association of Public Service Senior Managers President Sharon Fraser. The representative for the government were Deputy Prime Minister Honorable Cordell Hyde, Minister of Foreign Affairs Honorable Francis Fonseca, Minister of Education Honorable Oscar Requena, Minister of Public Service Honorable Henry Charles Usher, and Minister of State and Finance Honorable Chris Koyi. Following the long-hour meeting, DPM Hyde, despite not sharing details, told the media that the meeting was constructive. He also revealed that there is a proposal on the table that the union leaders will now take to their membership and the government ministers will take to the cabinet. Honorable Requena added that the meeting was cordial and that the proposal was well received. He also said that the government side understands the concerns of the union. BNTU President Nadia Kalis agreed that the meeting was mostly cordial, but she said there was a point union leaders felt their demands were not being taken seriously and tensions rose during these moments. She said she reminded the ministers that she has a mandate for a strike. PSU President Dean Flowers said that the union leaders did not waver with their demands and felt the negotiations were successful for the most part. In police news, the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Anthony Richard Rosado, provided the media with an update on the ongoing state of emergency SOE, which is in place in parts of the Belize and Cayo districts. Dr. Rosado said a total of 118 persons have been detained so far, with 49 of them having received detention orders.
And the main reason for that was to enable us to disrupt the criminal operations and in order for us to give the investigators uninterrupted or impeded investigative access. Hence the reason the recommendation was made for the state of emergency. After the situation rose to a critical level, the state of emergency was activated. A total of 118 persons were detained under the state of emergency. And out of those 118, 49 detention orders were issued after thorough investigation and evidence assessment. And during the operation also, we had a total of a number of firearms that were seized. So the areas that were basically selected under the state of emergency were based on a threat level. And once it was considered to be at a critical threat level, then it was included in the state of emergency, the areas under the state of emergency. Remember, the state of emergency regulation prohibits certain things: the loitering, the gathering of 3 or more persons. So several things are restricted under the state of emergency. So once those areas fall under the state of emergency, the regulation prohibits certain things from occurring.
And that is one, wakes, repasses.
Any gathering of 3 or more persons.
Really?
It's restricted under the state of emergency.
What about sporting events, for example?
Any gathering of 3 or more persons is restricted under the state of emergency. Those areas that are designated under the state of emergency.
Dr. Rosado also denied allegations that those detained were offered to trade in drugs and weapons in exchange for their freedom.
First of all, I want to reaffirm our commitment to transparency and upholding the rule of law. Any alleged suggestion that our police officers are lenient with violent offenders is inaccurate, and it's just an attempt, I believe, to disregard the dedicated effort of our police officers and the integrity of operations. Now, many of the firearms that were seized was seized based on the interrogation and on the extensive interview that was conducted with those individuals. And based on those information, then operations were conducted.
But do they then in turn are released even though they were detained as part of the SOE?
Now, individuals are just detained. Remember, we started at 118 individuals that were detained. And after the extensive or rigorous interview, only 49 detention order was issued. Because if there's no merit or there's no, after we assess the evidential material and there's no evidence for us to keep them longer, then they are released.
In health news, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has confirmed that 5 new cases of measles have been clinically diagnosed since an initial 2 cases were confirmed in April. These new cases stem from one of the initial cases. The new cases have been identified in Spanish Lookout and are linked to travel to northern Mexico, an area also experiencing a measles outbreak. Director of Public Health and Wellness, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, on Tuesday, told the media that they have launched a vaccine campaign and have had a favorable response, even in Spanish Lookout, a community that has traditionally not had a favorable impression of vaccines.
We have been working on weekends, going and doing home visits and trying to ensure that we capture as many persons who have not been vaccinated. So that again is ongoing countrywide. But in the Spanish Lookout community, we have been working closely with leaders. We have been getting significant cooperation, and we're moving forward with them. So that is a positive step in terms of the vaccines being given in communities that we have identified as low uptake communities, including Spanish Lookout as one of the communities. So we believe that continuing to work closely with any community that has a low uptake of vaccines, that's the means that we will be utilizing, getting trust in the community, working with the community, ensuring accessibility, improving accessibility, working on weekends and trying to ensure that people are vaccinated as quickly as possible. We are also vaccinating persons who have been exposed to measles and have not been vaccinated. So we know that measles vaccine, 2 doses, it's 99% effective against measles. But we do know that if you have already been exposed, but you are symptom-free and you take the vaccine, it's about 85% effective. So we're working in that circle and trying to cover many villages, trying to cover many areas surrounding these lower areas, as well as being available on a regular basis for persons who want to walk in for the vaccines, and doing mobile clinics as well. So going into smaller, more rural areas to ensure that the access is there. I think that the important message at this point is that if you're vaccinated, you're not at risk.
Yeah.
So that's the important message.
With measles now being a concern, the Director of Public Health and Wellness, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, said that surveillance is being done at points of entry, which is something that was already being done. She highlighted the surveillance being done at the international airport and at the border, and the issues being faced especially at the land borders.
What we have been doing and what has always been ongoing is that we do have point of entry surveillance through our public health inspectors. So public health inspectors are posted at the international airport and at the land borders. More so at the international airport is where they have significant duty to clear the airplanes, to ensure that there's nobody with infectious disease. If the captain has not reported that there's anybody ill on the flights are cleared. For the point of entry in terms of the borders, that's a little bit more difficult because we don't have staff at the borders 24/7. So persons who come in when, let's say, after 5 or after a certain time can easily walk through. But we have been working with our team to disseminate a special form that we're using on the tablet that does generalized surveillance. So just asking where you're coming from, age, the demographics, looking if you're vaccinated or not, asking if you have fever. So that's general surveillance. We're not pinpointing anybody specifically at this point coming in through the borders that are, for example, crossing from Mexico. We have large amount of people traveling to Chetumal or to Playa or to Cancun on a daily basis. So we have not done that as yet.
After the break, Belize City launches e-taxi service. Stay tuned.
Hi there. Are you on your phone right now?
32876.
The Belize City Council today launched the Belize City E-Ride taxi service, which uses electronic cars. Mayor of Belize City, Bernard Wagner, said the service will function similarly to how Uber works in other countries. Users would be able to track the e-taxi as it approaches via an app and would also allow communication with the driver. Users would also be able to pay using cash, but cashless options will be made available. The cost of a ride depends on distance and time of the day, but the average cost would be around $8 for a distance of 1.35 kilometers or just under a mile. Mayor Wagner shared more information.
Yeah, as you know, we have a broad vision of really driving a modern transportation system within the scope of our city. And so this is again ties in as we continue to build out that ecosystem. As you know, last year we had launched the e-buses, and as part of that project, independently of course with the Belize City Council, this project really put in place a sort of additional component needed to really have us realize our ambition of a greener, cleaner, less pollution, less noise pollution, less emissions in the air. And so we felt that it was important for us to be the catalyst, the sort of ignition for this project.
How were the vehicles sourced?
It was sourced through a bank loan, and we did that from in 2020, early 2024, and we have completely repaid that loan already. It was for $223,000 to acquire the four e-taxis.
Talk to us about how the service will work.
Well, the service utilizes a sort of technology that is mirrored to the Uber, Lyft that you find in some of the other modern countries, where you use this system to really communicate with the driver. You would book your ride, you would pay. It has a cashless payment option, but it also allows you to pay cash if you want. You track your driver as he or she progresses towards you, and you get in the vehicle and enjoy the clean ride.
How much for a ride?
Well, it runs. It depends on the time you take and the distance, but on an average, it is about $8 for 1.35 kilometers. That is the average.
Mayor Wagner said the initial plan was to have current taxi drivers be involved in the pilot project, but they said they have not been receptive. He also added that a new e-ride service is not meant to replace established taxi drivers.
Well, I believe the taxi drivers, initially we had engaged them on this project. We really wanted them to be the sort of catalyst for change, but for some reason they have essentially has not been receptive, and so we had to really redo. Secondly, we wanted to do like a lease to own. Again, that was a bit challenging to get the sort of applicants in. So what we have done now is essentially a lease agreement with the driver, and it is similar to what most of the taximen in Belize would go about now. Most of the taximen would pay to someone who owns the vehicle a fee per day, and that is similar to what we are doing here.
Did the council do any assessments in terms of the financial impact that it might have on city taxi drivers?
We have been very, 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 what you say, collaborative with the taximen. We want to ensure that we do not compete. I know that there's always this level of competition, but we don't want to undersell our taximen at no time. They have been around for many years. They have provided this sort of service for years. But again, change is challenge. It's really challenging when you are dealing with change. But we are not here to really create barriers. It's more to create opportunities. And while we are igniter for this project or the catalyst for this project is not something that we see long term that we will be. We want this to be driven by the private sector, by the sort of taxi men.
The mayor of Belize City, Bernard Wagner, today told the media that he is still advocating for municipalities to be able to charge a garbage collection fee to households to lessen that financial burden. Mayor Wagner said he is proposing a fee of $10 per month.
Well, we continue to try. You know, that is I have been very clear on that we must be able as a city to provide that garbage collection. We will never be able to fully offset what we pay, but if we are able to offset some portion of it, it goes a long way. I'm not standing here and saying that we will, the fee that we are proposing will really fully pay for the services, but at least a portion of it.
How much was that fee?
Well, initially we looked at $10 per month, $120 for the air, $10 per month. When I look at it for residential garbage fee, probably 30 days in a month. You do the maths. It's less than 50 cents a day, right? So I believe it's reasonable, and it will still not even meet the cost of garbage collection.
The traditional rainy season is right around the corner for Belize City residents. That usually means a time for dealing with localized flooding. Today, Mayor Bernard Wagner told the media that his council will soon begin assessing 4 key flood-prone areas in the city. He was also asked if the council is ready for the upcoming rainy season.
Yeah, we have been doing significant work. Actually, next week we are supposed to focus on four flood-prone areas at Berkeley Street, Canal Side. We'll be looking at the Pog Yard Bridge area. We'll be looking at the Freetown Street by the gas station and by King Street as well. So those 4 flood-prone areas are focus areas for us to really get into the drain, get an understanding of how the water runs during flood time, so that we are able to alleviate that sort of flooding in the city. So far that has been going good.
Talk to us about
rainy season.
You are never ready for rainy season. You just try to mitigate as best as you can through the dry season. But as the rain comes, you are hoping that you will be able to assess if the work that you put in really has worked. And so we know what we are up against, and so we are prepared to really drive this sort of cleanup campaign in those areas.
After the break, semi-pro basketball has returned to Corozal. Stay with us.
Smart is enhancing your mobile experience to keep you connected.
A lot of attention is placed on one's physical health, while little, if any, focus is given to mental health care. This week, during Education Week, students are taught the importance of a healthy body and mind. Carla Mendoza, who is a wellness and empowerment coach with Naturalene Belize, shared why mental health is also important.
I am a wellness and empowerment coach. I know that sounds new, but I came here to the school twice. I came once last week and I came here yesterday. My children also attend this school, so my heart is here, but I have a heart for health and I have a heart for empowerment, motivation. I have a heart for anything positive and full of light and love. And so I was here volunteering to share with the young people or with the children of Eden Estate Primary School about their wellness. I know that it's not a term that we hear mostly in Belize, and they had never heard the term holistic health. When I came, I asked them, do you guys know what is holistic health? And they said no, but we heard about health. So I came to teach them what is holistic health. What I do for a living, let me share that. I am a coach. I help people to know what it is, what their health is, what it entails, and how to know if you are truly healthy. So the word holistic means you are whole, you are a whole being of mind, heart, spirit, and that you are healthy in body as well. So sometimes we say, I'm not sick, so I'm healthy. So I came here to teach the students that not just because you're not sick means that you are healthy. Sometimes we go through depression, anxiety, we overthink, we're stressed, or maybe we are in a dark place in our lives. We need to learn to forgive. We have jealousy, we have envy. These are all things that internally make us sick. So I came here to teach and to share that unless you are clean, whole, and healthy in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit, then you can say that you are fully healthy in a holistic sense. So that is what I do. I'm a coach, I mentor, I guide, I lead by example. I am the founder of a business called Naturalene Belize, and I love to empower and help people in the community. I focus on weight loss, which is my specialty. 8 years ago, I developed a program using our local Belizean foods to help us lose weight in an affordable way. So I'm here to help the entire country of Belize, starting with the smallest, the children, so that they can start their journey right, their health journey, being aware that it's not just what you eat, it's also what you look at, what you think about, what you feel, and also your relationship with your maker and your creator God.
Mendoza, through Naturalene Belize, also offers a weight loss program, which she says is based on a lifestyle change which focuses on a healthy diet.
I have helped people lose over 100 pounds. However, it will take more time and it's a lifestyle. So let me just go ahead and say that Naturalene is not a diet, it is a lifestyle. So it's not like you can do it for 1 month, lose the weight, go back to how you used to eat before and expect that you're going to keep the weight off, okay? So if you go back to your old habits, you return to your old self. But if you take it as a lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle, you can keep it off for the rest of your life, which is what I have been doing for the past 8 years. I have been keeping my weight loss off and I'm keeping the lifestyle. I have completely followed my routines for the past 8 years. Even though I got pregnant again, I had a third child, I was able to lose all the weight back. Still not all the way where I want to be, but neither am I where I used to be. And that is something that we need to remember. Sometimes we feel like we're not where we want to be in life, but as long as you're not where you used to be, you're in a better place. And maybe you haven't made any changes, you haven't done anything positive for your life. Well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you, I'm here to guide you, I'm here to create a program for you so that your individual needs can be met.
Over the years, we have heard the names Mango Creek and Independence used interchangeably for the same community in the southern part of the Stan Creek district. Or is it two separate but adjacent communities that coexist? We spoke to Oscar Gutierrez, a retired teacher and former chairman of the village, who gave us a history lesson of the area. We learned that the original name of the community is not Independent, and surprisingly, it is also not Mango Creek.
If you ever come to Mango Creek and you go to what we call the water side, there's an old mango tree there. Still only one standing out of about a dozen of them. And that was like a landmark for people who wanted to go and work at the sawmill up the mangrove creek. Now, above where Waterside is, you had another person who had a logging operation, Pilgrim. Then behind Placencia, if you're familiar with the peninsula, there's an area called Blair Atoll where Maya Beach is. Right west of that, you had a gentleman named Moses Ramclam. So you had tree logging operation right in this area. Now, back in those days, you had Maya Prince and Heron H and so running people back and forth. People coming to look for a job. Well, where do you want to go? You want to go and work in the logging operation, but where? Well, they want to go to Mango Creek, where the mango tree is, or reference to where the mango tree is. And then the name Mango Creek become embedded. Now, old land documents show that Mangrove Creek was the original name. The land documents specify, and it's right where Waterside is, right behind there, there's an old land document saying Mangrove Creek. But with experiences and over time, people making reference to where they want to go, the name Mango Creek becomes stuck.
Gutierrez explained how the area also became known as Independence.
The company, Brown and Root, hired a company named PHL, Pine Harvest Limited, out of Texas, to build some houses we call in an area named as Banana Zone. All the houses look alike. And those were built by the Pine Harvest Limited. And that was for the workers at the time. So right at that boundary, there's a street named Amado Mena Avenue, and it goes right down to the primary school, right? I don't know if you're familiar with Mango Creek. So to the north of that boundary was referred to BC Compound. The only other area people were living was an area west of BC Compound owned by a fellow who bought some land and set up a sawmill. That was John Hall. So he had his own estate and his own sawmill operation. So there were two places. No. So the area was private, pretty much. BC was shipping lumber out of Waterside, which is the north of the village. Brown and Root was shipping out their tar through Big Creek, right? That's the south of the village. So you had from Amado Mena Avenue going south, there were no houses in there. David McCoy was the minister of government at the time, agitating the union and pushing for independence. You had and Judge Price was the prime minister at the time when we get self-government. So they came, and with the locals, and one of the Amado Mena was a person at the time. That's why that avenue is named after him. They came together and they decided to form a surveyed area named Independence. And so south of Amado Mena Avenue going to Big Creek, you have a surveyed plan.
Monkey River Village, which is located at the mouth of the Monkey River on the coast of northern Toledo District, is a village of only 193 according to the 2022 census. It is a place most Belizeans may not even be aware of. However, the community was once known as Monkey River Town and was a bustling town of some 2,500 inhabitants, who mostly were involved in the lumber and banana industries. Monkey River Town was incorporated as a town in 1891, but by 1981, the town was reclassified as a village, with its population having declined tremendously. What caused this drastic decline? We spoke with Oscar Gutierrez, the former chairman of Independence, whose mother is originally from Monkey River Town. Gutierrez also touched on the topic in his book, The Tides. He shared with us what were some of the possible causes of Monkey River's decline.
If you read my book, I project different views from the elders, people in their 80s. So some of them think it's political. You have infrastructure where if Monkey River had a road, people would travel, because from Monkey River to Mango Creek is not far. By road, you take like less than half an hour if you have good roads. And they think that the government at the time don't put any road, not interested. And you know that history is known that Monkey River was strongly UDP. And the government, ever since the 50s, is pro-PUP. So they've some sense it's political. No interest in making the communities thrive and continue as a town. Some people, well, a large factor to me is the hurricane. And we had various hurricanes that come through Belize. No, that's a factor, but right after and after 61 hurricane, that's the biggest devastation to the river economy. And that river economy, they produced rice, logging, bananas at the time. You had chicle, all these things coming out through Monkey River. And when that devastation happened, then the economy dwindled, and the only thriving business in the area was BEC, Belize Estate Company in Mango Creek. So people looking for work would come here. But the elders feel that people had their private farms, their nice houses in Monkey River. Had there been a political interest in especially with a simple thing as well, it's not simple, but a road that it would have survived. But so those are some of the factors, and I put several others how it affect Monkey River, and so the migration out of Monkey River is a result because Belize as a whole is suffered from disaster. But you don't see communities decline like Monkey River.
If you would like to learn more about Monkey River Town, the Tides book can be purchased from Oscar Gutierrez directly. He can be contacted at 615-3588. It retails for $40. And the Belize Premier Basketball League, BPBL, tips off its inaugural season this weekend across the country. One of those games will be hosted in Corozal by the newest team on the scene, the Corozal Ceros Suns. Lupito Acosta, the owner and general manager of the team, shared more information on the team and its players.
We have recently revived the basketball to the semi-pro level here in Corozal for the past 10 to 13 years. Corozal hasn't seen a semi-pro team coming out of the district. So when the BPBL came on board and requested us to have a team, it was an easy yes for me, At this point in time, we're looking forward to a new season. It's a new league and a new tutelage. It's including some of older teams that have been presented in the NEBL and the BBL for the past couple of years have also joined. So it was an easy yes for us here in Corozal.
Talk to us more about the name of the team and how you decided on that name.
Prior to the name, we were once known as Corozal Predators. The name was a very strong name with regards to the performance of the team. However, from a marketing standpoint, the league told us that it would be best for us to try to upgrade the name. So myself and our marketing manager, Mrs. Neal, we went over it and we came up with the name Ceros Suns. Right, being that here is a very rich Maya heritage in the north, and we're not too far from the Santa Rita Maya ruin in Corozal, and it is in line with the Ceros Suns Maya ruin across from the bay. So we went with the name Sarah Sons, meaning shine that light on basketball. And it also comes to say that we have rebirth on the court, basically what was once now is. So presently we are here with that name. We have some exciting basketball players out of Corozal, 5 of them. We have Julian Gomez, who's a 15-year-old. We have Joshua McLaughlin, Isene Velasquez, Kenroy Roches. Those are the names here coming from Corozal who are the younger players. We have some veteran players who have been playing in the NEBL for some years now. Some like Greg Rodon, Mr. Brandon Rogers. And we also have a foreign player coming in, Mr. Jamal Clifton. And also another Belizean foreigner who will be here. So we're basically packed with an exciting team. The fans can expect some high flying, running and gunning, shooting basketball. We're not here to say that we are a cream of the crop because we are a new franchise. But with everything that's taking place so far, we're excited to have a team personally to represent Corozal. So from that standpoint, we are excited to say that Sarah Sons is here.
A local star player, shooting guard Julian Gomez, spoke of what fans can expect, and he encourages residents to come out and support the team this Saturday.
I expect when I go in the game, sir, I expect I'm supposed to go do something to the fans. I play home and thing. So I've got shine and thing. So I expect that when I go in there, I play strong. I have a mindset that I will win and play for my team. So,
How you feel for the play for your hometown team?
but I say it feel good. I play home in front of my fans, my friends, and I'm ready for shoot some trees and stuff, score points. Some more fans come watch us play and CCC. Everyone come watch us and me especially. Today, Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
Okay, we're inviting our Corozal fans to come to Civic Center, Andrea Campos Stadium, and watch when you want to improve Sarah Sons along with Julian Gomez, up and coming, rising to star right here. He's small but young, boy big, and I make fun of that. But yes, man, come out and go represent, come see the players them, and enjoy a fun basketball game here at Corozal.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again Thursday at midday. Join us again Thursday at 6 p.m. for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.